Hello, my friends. Before we begin, if you care about staying strong, steady, and joyful as the years go by, tap, subscribe, and turn on the little bell. I post warm, practical guidance every week, and I'd love to walk this path with you. Now take a slow breath with me. In through the nose, hold, and out through the mouth. Good. Today, I want to tell you something simple and surprising about your health after 60. It's not a lecture. It's a story about hidden strength, small habits, and one quiet decision that can make the next 10 years the best decade of your life so far. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and the first thing you notice isn't a new ache, but a new calm. Your hands are steady. Your thoughts feel clear, like a window after the rain. You pour a glass of water, look outside, and the world looks possible again. That feeling, that quiet readiness, doesn't come from luck. It comes from a few small choices that most people overlook because they seem too simple to matter. But they do matter. The body listens when we whisper to it every day. It listens to the steps we take, the way we breathe, the foods we choose, and the thoughts we rehearse. It listens with patience, and when we are kind to it, it answers with energy. I learned this from a woman named Maria. She is 72, a retired librarian who used to fear the stairs outside her building. She told me she would stand at the bottom, look up, and feel the steps as an impossible mountain. Then one day she did the smallest thing. She put her hand on the rail and climbed just 5 steps. The next day, 6. The next, 7. She kept a tiny notebook by the door, and every time she added 1 step, she drew a little star. It wasn't dramatic, no crowd, no music. But she was rehearsing courage in small doses. 6 months later, she didn't just climb the stairs. She carried 2 bags of groceries and paused at the landing not to catch her breath, but to smile. When I asked her what changed, she said, "I stopped bargaining with my fear and started bargaining with my habits. 5 steps for 5 minutes of TV. 6 steps for a phone call to my granddaughter." The body learns what we reward it for. That's the first secret. Reward your body for the smallest win. We often wait for a big transformation, a grand plan, but the heart and muscles love consistency more than perfection. If you can walk for 7 minutes today, celebrate it. If you can stretch for 3 minutes while the kettle boils, celebrate it. If you add 1 vegetable to your plate at lunch, celebrate it. When we treat small steps like serious victories, the brain pays attention and starts to crave the next little win. And this craving is your ally. It feels gentle, but it is powerful. Let me tell you about Mr. Carter, 68. A quiet man who used to skip breakfast and then crash around 2 in the afternoon. He thought coffee was a meal and worry was exercise. We spoke, and I asked him to try a simple experiment for 10 days. Each morning, before coffee, eat something with color and life. Half a cup of berries, a slice of whole grain toast with a thin layer of nut butter, or a bowl of warm oatmeal with cinnamon. Nothing fancy. On day 4, he called me and said, "I don't feel like a hero, but I also don't feel like I'm dragging an anchor around." That anchor was a blood sugar roller coaster. It made his mornings wired and his afternoons foggy. Once he softened the ride with a steady breakfast, his energy stopped spiking and crashing. He started taking short walks after lunch. He slept a little deeper. 10 days became 30. And then he laughed and said, "I guess I'm an oatmeal person now." He didn't become a different man. He became a steadier one. There's something else I want you to hear, and I want you to hear it with kindness. The stories we repeat to ourselves shape our health more than we realize. If the mind whispers, "I'm too old," the body obeys and moves less. If the mind whispers, "I'm fragile," the body stiffens and the world looks dangerous. But if the mind whispers, "I can practice," even when I'm tired, the body becomes a partner again. I don't mean pretending everything is easy. I mean telling yourself a better, braver story, and then backing it up with tiny proof. When you pick up a light weight while watching your favorite show, that's proof. When you keep a water bottle by the sink and refill it after each bathroom break, that's proof. When you choose a 10-minute walk after dinner instead of scrolling through the news, that's proof. Proof builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. A few months ago, I met a couple, Rose and David. She is 65. He is 70. They started a ritual they call the friendship lap. Every evening, just before sunset, they walk to the end of their street, turn around, and come home. It takes 12 minutes. They hold hands. They talk about nothing important. But in those 12 minutes, they are keeping 3 promises. The first, we move our bodies every day, even when the couch tries to charm us. The second, we end the day with connection, not with worry. The third, we notice the sky. Rose told me, sometimes the friendship lap becomes 30 minutes. Sometimes it's shorter because of rain. But it's always there, and now I measure my days by it. What amazed me was how this small ritual changed their sleep. Rose's nighttime rest became steadier. David's blood pressure softened. The doctor didn't give them a new prescription. Their feet did. If you've ever felt intimidated by the word exercise, try trading it for the words movement snack. A movement snack is the tiny thing you do when you don't feel like doing anything. It might be standing up and sitting down from a chair 5 times slowly with your arms out for balance. It might be pressing your hands against a wall and leaning into a gentle push 15 times, resting if you need. It might be rolling your shoulders in smooth circles and then reaching up toward the ceiling, eyes following your fingertips, breathing out as your hands float down. Movement snacks teach the joints to stay friendly, the balance system to stay awake, and the brain to trust your body again. You don't need a gym. You don't need tight clothes. You need a promise to yourself that small is not silly. Small is the door. Let's talk about calm. Many of us know how to worry, but few of us were taught how to settle our nervous system on purpose. There is a breath I teach that has helped hundreds of people find their center in less than a minute. Inhale for a slow count of 4. Pause for a soft count of 2. Exhale for a slow count of 6. The exhale tells your body that you are safe. Do that for 1 minute before you stand up from your chair, before you make a phone call, or before you climb your stairs. 1 minute of steady breath can turn a shaky moment into a manageable one. It won't fix every problem, but it will make your hands smarter and your feet surer. I've watched anxious shoulders drop. I've watched tired eyes soften. I've felt my own chest grow wider, as if the day had more room in it than I thought. I want to share a story about a gentleman named Anil. He is 74 and used to love playing the flute in his 20s. Life got busy, and the flute went into a closet for 40 years. When his doctor told him to find a hobby that brings him joy and makes him breathe deeper, he opened that closet and found the old case. The first few days his notes were shy and uneven, but he noticed something. On the days he practiced for 10 minutes, his posture improved without him thinking about it. His shoulders remembered how to float, his ribs remembered how to expand, and his breath learned to travel from the belly to the back of his lungs. He wasn't just making music, he was training his core and respiratory muscles. 2 birds, 1 lovely stone. Joy can be medicine when it recruits the body in kind ways. If you once loved to sing, sing. If you once loved to garden, garden. If you once loved to dance slowly in your kitchen, turn on a song and let your feet remember. The body is a museum of old joys waiting to be reopened. Hydration is another quiet hero. Many older adults feel tired not because they're weak, but because they're underwatered. The brain is sensitive to even mild dehydration. It can make you foggy, dizzy, cranky. A simple strategy I love is the half-hour sip. Keep a glass or a bottle nearby and take a few sips every 30 minutes while you're awake. You don't need to flood yourself at once. Think steady rain, not thunderstorm. If you take medications that affect fluids, talk to your clinician about a range that makes sense for you, but remember the principle. A hydrated brain thinks kinder thoughts. A hydrated heart pumps smoother. A hydrated body stands up more easily. Now, let's visit the kitchen for a minute, not to change everything you eat, but to add a few small upgrades. When you build a plate, imagine 3 friendly anchors. First, something colorful from the plant world. Tomatoes, leafy greens, berries, peppers, beans. Second, a source of protein appropriate for you. That might be eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, tofu, lentils, or a lean meat your doctor approves. Third, a healthy fat in a small, satisfying portion. Olive oil on your salad, a few nuts, avocado slices. These anchors keep your blood sugar gentle and your energy steady. They also keep you full, which makes it easier to say no to the 4th cookie calling your name at 9 p.m. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be anchored. Sleep, my friends, is the quiet architect of health after 60. It builds memory, repairs tissue, balances mood. But sleep doesn't like to be chased. It likes to be invited. You invite sleep by going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time, even on weekends. You invite sleep by dimming the lights an hour before bedtime, letting your nervous system know that the day is winding down. You invite sleep by leaving the heavy thoughts on paper. Keep a notebook by your bed. Write down the things you cannot solve tonight. Tell your brain, "Thank you, I'll handle this tomorrow." Then breathe out slowly and let the paper hold your worries. If you wake at night, be kind to yourself. Sit up, sip water, read a few pages of a gentle book, or listen to a soft piece of music. Don't punish yourself for being awake. Invite sleep again. I want to pause and speak gently about the fear of falling. It steals confidence from so many good people. Here is the truth. Balance is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Start near a counter or a sturdy chair. Stand tall, feet hip-width apart, and gently lift one heel, then the other, like a slow march. Breathe. Then try placing one foot directly in front of the other for just a moment and stepping back. These are not circus tricks. They are signals to your inner ear, your eyes, and the receptors in your feet that say, "We are practicing." Over time, add a whisper of challenge. Turn your head slowly left and right as you march. Close your eyes for just a second and open them again. Celebrate each practice as a deposit into your safety bank. The day you catch yourself on the second step instead of the floor, you'll thank your past self for these small, faithful drills. Now, I promised you real stories. Let me give you 3 more, each like a postcard from someone who decided to become a little braver than their habits. First, there's Evelyn, 80, who felt lonely after her sister moved away. Her doctor said, "Join a class." She rolled her eyes and said, "At my age?" Then she found a beginner's Tai Chi group at the community center. She went once, stood near the back, and copied the slow movements as best she could. No one expected perfection. They expected presence. 6 months later, Evelyn didn't just move more gracefully. She made 2 new friends, and their laughter is softer than pain medicine, she says. Loneliness shrank when she moved in company. Second, there's Tomas, 62, who loves his morning coffee but noticed his heartbeat racing after the second cup. Instead of giving up the ritual, he made a new one. 1 cup of coffee, then a cup of water with a squeeze of lemon, then a second beverage that's not coffee, like herbal tea. The ritual stayed, the jitters left, and he felt clearer by noon. Third, there's Aisha, 69, who used to dread her medical appointments because she felt overwhelmed. She decided to bring a little folder with 3 pieces of paper, 1 with her medications, 1 with 3 questions, and 1 to write down answers. She told me, "When I walk into the clinic with my folder, I feel like the CEO of my health." Organization is a form of courage. If you are listening and thinking, "This all sounds good, but I'm tired," I see you. Fatigue can feel like a heavy coat you didn't ask to wear. Start where fatigue is born: breath, posture, blood sugar, hydration, and a whisper of movement. Sit tall for 1 minute, breathing in for 4 and out for 6. Sip water. Eat something gentle, like yogurt with a few berries, or a small handful of nuts and a piece of fruit. Then do a movement snack that lasts 60 seconds. When the coat feels a shade lighter, do another snack later. You are not lazy. You are learning how to place small lights along a dark hallway, one by one, until it is bright enough to walk. I've spent years watching people surprise themselves. The pattern is always the same. They choose one small habit to practice daily. They remove one tiny friction that used to trip them up, like putting their walking shoes by the door or filling their pillbox on Sunday afternoon. They make health social by inviting a friend to text them after a walk or to share a picture of their colorful lunch. And they forgive themselves quickly when a day goes sideways. They start again the next morning, because that's what strong people do. Strength is not force. Strength is the grace of beginning again without drama. Now let me give you a handful of phrases that I want you to carry like pocket stones. The first, small is the door. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, find the smallest possible action and walk through it. The second, don't negotiate with fear, negotiate with habits. Fear is loud. Habits are steady. Have a conversation with the habit you can do today, not the fear shouting about tomorrow. The third, joy counts as exercise when it moves your body and your breath. Music, gardening, gentle dancing, a friendship lap with someone you love. The fourth, proof, not perfection. Collect tiny evidence that you are the kind of person who cares for yourself. The evidence can be a glass of water, a stretch, a vitamin you remember to take. Proof writes the new story. Before we close, I want to offer a gentle reminder. I'm sharing general guidance, not personal medical advice. Your health is unique. If you have specific conditions, medications, or symptoms, please talk to your clinician or pharmacist about what's right for you. Think of this channel as a friendly companion on your path, a voice that cheers for you to take wise steps, one day at a time. Here is the heart of today's message, gathered into a lesson you can carry forward. Lasting health after 60 is not built by heroic bursts. It is built by quiet repetitions. When you reward small wins, your brain becomes your partner. When you anchor your meals with color, protein, and healthy fat, your energy steadies. When you treat movement like a daily ritual rather than a chore, your joints remember how to be friendly and your balance wakes up. When you breathe with longer exhales, your nervous system learns to trust you again. When you resurrect old joys, like music or gardening, you train your body without scolding it. When you make health social, you shrink loneliness and grow courage. And when you forgive yourself and begin again, you prove that age is not the villain of your story. Habits are.